Hey, what's up, guys? After the big changes to melee weapons in patch 9.0, I was wondering to myself, what's going to be better now, block, balance, or fencing? So I took 3 runs on the tactical class and I did true solo absolute difficulty on decapitation with the exact same build, except swapping out a different chainsword class for each run. So I wanted to go over the results with you guys so we can suss out which is the better class. Now, I thought that honestly balance might end up being the most useful now, but that's not really how it ended up working out for me in these 3 runs, which you'll end up seeing in the clip. And it is probably going to be dependent on which class you're playing, so this is mostly going to be true for the tactical class since that's the 3 runs I did it on, but you can still take a general idea of how things are going to work from this video. Okay, so getting right into the first encounter, this is a block encounter with Lictors. So we got double Lictor, and I took a hit there, and then it caused me to take a chain of hits, but I was able to recover and get off an attack, which in turn staggered them, and then I was able to get the advantage back from them. So as somebody with close to 800 hours in Space Marine 2, I think that most average players are going to be missing a block timing here or there, so you can definitely expect that some encounters may go like this, but I did end up getting these Lictors cleared out, so it worked out okay. And next we're going to be taking a look at a fencing encounter with double Lictors. So now I've got a fencing sword and double Lictors are on me. And I did take a small hit during that gun strike, but it worked out okay. Parried there, parried there. Okay, now I'm parrying this string of attacks. And then I got the first Lictor cleared out, and then the radiating impact triggered and cleared the second one. So I didn't miss any parries with the fencing weapon. And then the third Lictor finally popped out and attacked me in the back here, but he's going to be pretty easy to take down by himself. And now for the balanced encounter, I didn't have one with double Lictor, but I did have Ravener and Lictor together. So this is how this went. I hit the first parry and their attacks kind of aligned there. And then battle focus is so strong, I was able to take that Lictor out pretty quickly. And then the Ravener by himself shouldn't be too hard, so I just need to finish him off here. So of these 3 encounters, I think I had the hardest time with the block, but we'll definitely need to look at a few more encounters to get a more accurate picture overall. Okay, now we're going to look at some double sword warrior encounters. So first up is block. So I get a nice parry sequence off there. And then I'm getting pushed down the steps. And that hit, I think I would have blocked it, but it was because of the height difference, because of the stairs. So I'm not going to count that. So I think I cleared that one pretty well. I would say no hit because I only took that one hit because of the stairs. And then for the fencing encounter, there was quite a few more double sword warriors mixed in with a whip warrior here, but I ended up clearing out this encounter, only taking, I think, 1 armor bar's worth of damage, so they didn't even manage to get my armor cleared out. So this encounter went pretty well with the fencing. And for tactical in particular, you don't swing your melee weapon that much. You just kind of use it to get the battle focus parry going, and then you can just pop them in the head a few times, or that's how I usually play tactical because it's a little safer than playing in melee a lot. So for this comparison, it might work out differently with a different class like Vanguard or Assault or Bulwark. But in the end, and this is the balance encounter here with double sword warriors. But in the end, what ended up happening with these 3 runs was that I made it farthest with the fencing. And mind you, this is true solo absolute difficulty, so it's a bit hard. But I made it to the boss with fencing, almost had him dead, and then I messed up and died. With balance, I didn't even make it to the halfway point in the bomb room. And with block, I made it to about 80% of the mission done. I got to the tunnel right before you get to the boss room. So for me, I still did the best with fencing, and I don't know, maybe it's just because what I'm most used to, or maybe it's because fencing is really strong now that they up the speed on it. I find that the cleave on the balanced weapons doesn't really do much. It gives you a little more AoE damage on your hits, but you don't really need it because anytime you kill a Majoris enemy, they do that Psywave explosion that kills most of the gaunts anyway, so cleave isn't really that useful. And so that's why I think block is actually better than balance, even with block being so slow right now, because block does, at least it has high single target damage, which you'll see in this next clip here. Okay, so in this next clip, I've got the block chainsword and I'm up against double Raveners, and you'll see in a second the high single target damage that I'm able to pull off. So I miss a couple block timings here, but I did get the interrupt, and then I miss one more timing, but I'm able to recover here and get off one combo, and boom, just pretty much took that first Ravener out really quickly there. And then get the parry on the second one, and then he's about to charge in again here, and boom. So that's why I kind of think that block can be better than balanced. And for some reason, I feel that I'm able to hit the block timings on the parries a little bit easier than the balanced timings for some reason. I don't know if the parry timings are actually any different, but I think I find the blocks a little easier to hit, actually. And then there, I just took a bad gun strike, and that's where my balance run ended. And then this was the closest thing that I had for fencing to double Ravener, so it was actually double Vilevor. And you'll see here that even though the damage output is a little lower, it doesn't matter too much, especially on tactical, because you have your gun to make up for it and your crazy range damage. But the main key thing is just that the balance parries are so much easier that you're just able to not miss any timings and stay alive. And I think this is going to be the case for a lot of people, except players who are a little bit higher on the skill level. So for them, block could still be better, or maybe they can even make balance work better. But for a lot of players like me who don't have tons and tons of time to game and don't play this game for their job, I think that a lot of players are still going to find fencing to come out on top in most cases. And I'm sure there's going to be people down in the comments saying like, oh, I actually do better with block, I find block works better for me, or same thing with balance. And I'm sure that'll be the case, but I'm just saying for the majority of people, your average player, that I still think fencing is going to be the best for most people in most cases, except like particular classes that do better with certain types of weapon. Okay, and here's the last thing I wanted to go over, is just seeing the cleave stat actually in action. So watch how many of the gaunts get hit by my shoulder charge with the blockchain sword. So watch here. So a decent amount, a pretty good amount. And then with fencing, we'll see how many get hit. So see how if you were still left over right next to me, they didn't get knocked back. So that's where fencing kind of lags behind a little bit. And then here, watch how many get hit with balance. Boom. So it's kind of insane. But unfortunately, I think that the survivability that fencing gives you just kind of makes up for that deficit. But see, again, there's quite a few gaunts still standing next to me with fencing here, and we'll see it one more time. And see, there was still like 3 right behind me. So I think fencing does struggle a little bit with swarms of gaunts, but you can just parry their little attacks as they're attacking you, and you don't necessarily need to get big AoE attacks off on them. And you can do multiple shoulder charges pretty quickly. And then we'll see one more time with balanced here, and see just like all of them get knocked back, which is, it is kind of cool. So, but I just find that in practice, it doesn't actually make that much of a difference. Maybe if you had like a big weapon like a power fist or thunder hammer, it would justify using blocker balanced a little more. But with the smaller weapons, definitely fencing seems to be better. If you got anything useful out of this video, drop a like on it for me. And if you like this video, you might like my top 3 meta mistakes players keep making in Space Marine 2 video. It should be popping up right about now. And if you're not sub, but you've been watching a few of my videos and you like them, consider subscribing.
Go slay some heretics, brothers. Only in death does duty end.